Get ready, boys and girls.
Pack your suitcases.
Buckle your seatbelt.
You know why? Because we're going on an immigration road trip! Okie dokie, first stop on the road trip is the U.S.-Canadian border. The U.S.-Canadian border is located above the United States of America and below British Columbia, Canada. This is the longest international border in the world. Canada is the largest country to only have one border with one other country. The U.S.-Canadian border is known as the 45th parallel. It is also known for being the longest undefended military-wise border in the world. And did you know that this border is 3 times longer than the Mexican-United States border?
Now we are moving to Boston, Mass., the city of neighborhoods. There are 21 official diverse neighborhoods in Boston. Let's tell you about the early history. In 1850, about 35,000 Irish lived in Boston. Now, Italians reside in the north end, while Irish dominate the south part of Boston and Charlestown. A lot of Russians and Jews live in the west part of Boston. Here's a fun fact. The Kennedys, a major political figures in Boston, are Irish. Nowadays, Boston stays very diverse. Irish descent form the largest single ethnic group in the city, making up 15.8% of the population. Italians account for 8.3% of the population. Jewish population is actually very high. 21,000 Jews live within the city, and there are over 22 synagogues. That's a lot of diversity for one city.
Pack your bathing suits, boys and girls, because we're swimming on over to Ellis Island. Ellis Island was the first federal immigration station in the United States of America. It opened on January 1st, 1892, when 700 immigrants walked through its doors into the great land that we call America. Within its first year, over 450,000 immigrants went through Ellis Island onto American soil. On June 15th, 1897, a fire erupted and burned all the wooden structures on Ellis Island. No one was hurt, but all the records from before 1855 were destroyed. During its time, 12 million immigrants were processed at Ellis Island. Today, over 100 million, that's 1/3 of Americans, can trace a relative back to Ellis Island. When immigrants were processed through Ellis Island, they were often checked in their eyes and to make sure they didn't have disease. And now, today, Ellis Island is a museum to commemorate all the history it holds.
Next on a road trip, the capital itself, Washington, D.C. To enter America legally, you either need a visa or sometimes even a work permit. Obtaining a visa or a work permit can be a long process. This is why many people come over illegally to the United States. Let's talk about the legal immigrations, though. Of the legal immigrations, 24% are from Mexico, 5% from China, 4% from the Philippines, India racks in 4%, Vietnam 3%, and a lot of other countries rack in at a smaller percentage. People immigrate here for many reasons. Better jobs, better education, and just in general, a great lifestyle. These are all great reasons to come here, and there are a lot of things pushing people to come to America. Escaping prosecution or genocide in their home country might make them flee, but although they might leave for the bad reasons, they also might come for the good reasons, like I had said earlier.
L'chaim and welcome to Galveston, Texas. The Galveston movement, also known as the Galveston Plan, was set up just before the Holocaust and during, so that Jews who were being persecuted over in Europe could come on over to America and set up a safe haven. Over 10,000 Jewish immigrants made Galveston, Texas their home, and eastern cities like Boston and New York, their Jewish populations came on down so they could be with people like themselves.
Next up on our road trip, we're going to Arizona. Arizona's been in the news recently a lot about immigrants. Arizona SB 1070 is one of the strictest anti-illegal immigration movement going on right now in recent history. This says that legal aliens will have to have their papers on them at all times, and if checked, they have to have them or it's a misdemeanor. Critics say it encourages racial profiling, while others say is that the law does not affect anyone on the sole basis of their race. Now, over 70 cities have protested this. The act was signed into law by Governor Jan Brewer on April 23, 2010. It was scheduled to take effect on July 29, 2010, 90 days after, but on the day beforehand, a federal judge issued an injunction that stopped this from happening and made this thing a success.
I hope you're ready to get wet again, because now we're swimming on over to Angel Island, located in San Francisco Bay, California. Throughout its history, Angel Island has processed approximately 100 Asian people. It is referred to as the Ellis Island of the West because it is much like that Ellis Island, but located on the west coast. And because of the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, many Asian immigrants had to stay long periods of time on the island. It was recently renovated and reopened as a state park in 2009 and is now a National Historic Landmark.
Now let's go back in time to 2006, Los Angeles. This is the time when the Border Protection, Anti-Terrorism, and Illegal Immigration Control Act of 2005 was occurring. This was passed by the United States House of Representatives, but it was denied by the Senate. They had rallies all across Los Angeles. Over 500,000 people marched. The bill that they signed talked about deporting over 11 million people. Their main chant at the march was "Si se puede," which means "yes, we can." This was referring to we can do it, we can make it, the land is for everyone, no borders.
Okay, and for our second to last stop, we have a dangerous one, the Mexican-American border. It is over 1,900 miles long, and it is known as the most frequently crossed border in the whole entire world. 4 U.S. states touch Mexico, and those states are California, Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. There are 42 U.S.-Mexican border crossings where you can either enter and or exit America. America is guarded by over 20,000 U.S. Border Patrol agents to stop illegal immigrants and to stop the illegal transportation of illicit drugs. There's an estimated 500,000 illegal entries into our country via the Mexican border each year. And future plans for the border include digital fences where no physical barrier needs to be in place in order for no Mexicans to get across. Jesus Christ.
Immigrant workers everywhere, that's our last stop. Some jobs are good, some jobs are not, just like everyone in America. Because some immigrants are illegal, though, they don't have to get paid minimum wage, so they get paid the bare minimum at really bad jobs that are not enjoyable. This is the unfortunate case. In the happy cases, they live the same way we do. Great jobs to have money for their family and for themselves, to be able to buy food and have shelter. This is what the American dream is all about. Being able to come to America, live here, and have a successful life for you and your family. Thank you for going on this road trip. It's been a great time. Till next time.